Salutations everybody, it is Maddie here today, sitting down to talk about the Xbox Game Showcase, where we recently got some official information over on the Xbox Wire about, and today's video is going to be the same as what you saw with the Starfield Honest Expectations video and the Fallout 4 Next Gen Update Honest Expectations video, where we're going to sit and chat before these rumors really start to pile on, because as of this moment in time, we don't know much going into the Xbox Game Showcase, which I imagine will change, but right now, that's actually pretty exciting. Obviously, with Redfall coming out, I think the conversation has dramatically shifted in the terms of expectations for the Xbox Game Showcase. So we're going to get into some of that official information on what Xbox is saying to expect, what of course Phil Spencer recently said on the Kinda Funny Xcast, and then I'm just going to deliver some of my thoughts on not predictions like, will this be there, will that be there, but more so the expectations on what the show needs to deliver to be an actual success, which of course will entail games, but there's something beyond that, a message that needs to be sent to consumers, which I will dive into a little bit more. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for making some time in today's video. I'm currently closing on a house, so I am so beyond exhausted right now. I did not know that you could cry tears of happiness and exhaustion at the same time, but oh my, has this week taught me that. With that, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here, you're into Xbox news and information, you're certainly in the right place. Consider subscribing, and now let's begin with some of that official information, shall we? So over on the Xbox Wire, what they write is, join us for some new surprises and first looks from our incredibly talented internal studios and our many creative partners around the world. This is the day gamers have been waiting to see for what is coming to Xbox, PC, and Game Pass. And then afterwards, of course, is the Starfield Direct, which we already talked about in a separate video. So it's looking like this showcase is lining up to be an hour and a half, and then the Starfield Direct will be half an hour. With the Xbox Showcase, it looks like they're leaning more into first party, and let's just reaffirm that with what we're hearing from Phil Spencer during the Kinda Funny Xcast interview.
I'm very enthusiastic about Showcase. We're going to announce some things that people haven't seen, some new games. We're going to give updates to some of the things that were on your list. The other thing that gets me really excited is when I look forward over the next quarters, which has always been my focus of how do we get a big game out every quarter at quality, that things are lining up finally after some of the slowdown through COVID. I'm tired of talking about that. But I can now see that we've got games coming every quarter that I think will surprise and delight our customers. We still have to deliver on the creative. We still have to deliver on the technical.
So Phil's already confirmed that there are games that we haven't heard of in a while that are going to get some much needed updates and information. And he even insisted in that interview, if we were to take him at face value, that there is a pipeline that's finally coming to fruition and he can see it, but obviously none of that should matter until they deliver it, because Xbox has put themselves in this position. Now, if I were to make this video in a pre-Redfall world, I think it would just be more of a, it's time to see the first party games, it's time to put up or shut up. But in a post-Redfall world where I genuinely believe that the morale of Xbox fans is the lowest it's been in a while, it's one thing with the delays that come in, you go, oh man, 2022 is vacant, that kind of stinks, but you always trust in the delay to deliver a better product, not one of the lowest rated Xbox exclusives ever. That is truly astonishing, and it's now one of the lowest rated games on Steam. Again, not what we expected. So in a post-Redfall world, the ante has been upped. The problem with this is it comes in really late. See, Redfall just released at the very beginning of May, and this showcase is just from that release date about a little bit over a month from that point in time. The reason that's important to point out is Xbox can only reverse course and stuff in extra announcements so much. Probably by this point in time, the showcase has been finalized. I say all of that because the talk of the town now is Xbox better show up. It's not a let's hope they show up, it's they better show up. The pressure is immense on them, and I feel like the breaking point for fans was Redfall being at the quality it was, where Xbox fans have gone from saying we're waiting to games to why am I even here? Beyond Starfield, why am I even here? Now, I've said for a while, if you've got the means, the best way to, I think, enjoy your video games on the two major platform holders being PlayStation and Xbox, if you want to enjoy what both of them are producing, buy a PS5, buy a PC. You'll get everything from Xbox over on PC. And I know with today's PC ports, that's really not an ideal solution, but having faith in some of our great developers, maybe that will start to turn around, but you can enjoy the exclusives of PS5 over there. But still, fans are asking, why am I a part of this ecosystem? And that's why Xbox needs to show up with first party. This is not one of those situations where I think third-party exclusives are going to seal the deal for fans. We've waited a long while, since really 2018, with the 5 studios being purchased, to see what they are cooking. And no doubt we're gonna see some of them miss the show, but I think it's time to hear from teams like Compulsion, the developers of We Happy Few in Contrast. I think it's time to put a release date on Hellblade 2. You know, typically when you reveal a game alongside your console, like they did at the Game Awards with the Series X, you'd think the game would have been out pretty soon, but in fact it wasn't. I think an update on Avowed is an absolute must, especially now that Phil is saying we're getting great builds of the game. So I think, to me, that's the holy trinity for this showcase. If we can hit all 3 of those, where you get something new and surprising from Compulsion, you get this sort of big RPG follow-up to Starfield to know you're getting more of that, I think just everything combined there would deliver a strong first-party presence on top of what we already know, right? We already know Starfield's gonna be there in a separate direct. And that brings me to the other point, which is already existing Xbox games need to have some of the faith renewed. I think a big statement from Halo Infinite is due. I think after everything that's happened at 343, the layoffs, the changes in leadership, we're seeing content come out, we're seeing fixes come to the game. Even if, unfortunately, like hit detection is still a problem in the game, there's just seemingly something wrong in the guts of this game, but people want to see a good roadmap for the future, and no doubt Season 3 has been one of the best for Halo Infinite, so I think now is a good time to come out and make a statement if I'm them. And that, I think, would sort of encapsulate a good first-party presence for Xbox, barring any other surprises. We know the Xbox Game Studios partnerships would extend to things like maybe Contraband finally getting an update, probably Project Belfry, which we've heard a million and one rumors about and was reportedly supposed to be at last year's showcase. So it getting bumped back, I think, would make sense for it to be here. I think it's time to see a fruition of all of the leaks and rumors, which I know are out of Xbox's control, but seemingly they were all nearby, but also the things that they have officially announced, and really set the stage for, hey, we didn't throw a ton of Game Pass bags at obscure third-party titles that are like kinda there. No, we have great stuff coming from our teams. And of course, the problem is that I think coming out of the showcase, no matter what Xbox delivers, my expectations are people are gonna grade them extremely tough, and rightfully so, because I could totally see them having a banger show and us stepping out and going, okay, that was good. The reason that is because now they've put themselves in the position in a post-Redfall world of, you now have betrayed the trust of what you've shown us. And that is another gigantic problem, where my expectation is following Redfall, they likely reviewed the whole showcase and contacted all the teams and said, is what you're showing indicative of the final product? Frame rate, quality standard, like what are we looking at here? Is that what the consumer is gonna get? Which, for a platform holder, should always have been done, but I think they are going to check their list twice over. The reason I hone in on first party is because I think that's what's going to reinvigorate the player base. I think Game Pass is the future, so having your first party rolling is extremely important for Xbox's future, especially when they've already officially stated now that they're not interested in out-consoling Sony or Nintendo. And I don't mean to say that in a console war-y way, but that sort of waving the white flag in one department means, okay, get your first party in order if that's the direction, as in Game Pass, if that's where you're going. And the bottom line is that whether you think Redfall is this one-off failure, Xbox fans are just overreacting. It's been a completely overblown discussion, or you're one of the people who goes, you know what, this game encapsulates all the problems within Xbox Game Studios over the last couple of years, and I'm tired of it. I think we can all come into the middle and agree that Xbox fans are tired of waiting. And if you've listened to my analysis, my breakdowns on Defining Duke, and here, I've pinned down this showcase for the last 2 years now, saying this is gonna be the one that shakes out as I think the determination of Xbox's future. And by that, I meant this has to be the one. If 2023 isn't the one, and by the one, I mean the first party blowout, I don't know what to say anymore. It's not a company I'm looking to defend, but it becomes very tough to defend. And I think for consumers who have no vested interest in the platform, tough to support. Already following Redfall, we got write-ins on Defining Duke of people trading in their Xbox, selling off their stuff and saying, I'm just gonna go where the exclusives are. And that brings us to another step that is a bit of rumor mongering here, but I think it's really important to consider in this conversation the upcoming PlayStation showcase. It's in the leaks and rumors constantly with a Metal Gear Solid exclusive remake coming to the platform, which is a big deal. And reportedly, this is all happening towards the end of May or the beginning of June. So PlayStation is going to strike first, it sounds like. Again, not to get into the console war-y territory, but when PlayStation's about to strike, and I feel like, man, the timing couldn't be worse for Xbox, because if the last PlayStation showcase was anything to go off of, when PlayStation shows up outside of the state of play for a showcase, they mean business big time. And they showed some, to me, extremely exciting stuff for the future, but then delivered stuff in the near term. The future stuff for me was Wolverine and KOTOR remake. Yo, I'm on board. Get me a PS5 because they got stuff like Ragnarok coming now. So like, let's go, let's do this. But if they come out swinging, they're like, here's Spider-Man 2, here's MGS3 remake. We're hearing about a Mortal Kombat 12 reveal happening, and it's possible it lines up with this showcase. I mean, they could have some seriously impressive stuff here. And now Xbox, already on their heels, is about to fall back one more step. So that's why, again, I understand there's certain things they couldn't anticipate, but the conversation is going to ramp up with insane pressure following this showcase that Xbox needs to come out swinging. I'm talking like reveal one needs to be a what kind of moment. I think they need to end the show with a no way kind of moment. Because last showcase to me felt like a recovery mission, right? Like, yes, we're not going to deliver the big first party exclusives from Bethesda. That's the egg on the face they have to accept. But they do the right things with the Kojima partnership. They do a partnership with Team Ninja for Wo Long. They do a partnership with Atlas for Persona. As a huge JRPG fan, those were the moves that won me over, on top of a pretty good showing otherwise. A lot of investment in Game Pass. But this time around, it's different. This time, it's no longer the recovery mission. It's the mission statement to me as to what you are doing with your platform moving into the future. And I really hope they strip away that 1 year barrier, because the 1 year barrier in last year's show, I think, limited the awe and wonder of what could be at the show immediately. And I feel like Xbox needs to take every win they can get without getting too overambitious and saying, oh, let's announce a game that's going to be out in 3 years, unless it's like a New Vegas 2. Again, that's my kind of rule. Like, if it's a New Vegas 2 or a DC or Marvel or Star Wars game and it's exclusive, then pre-announce that bitch right away. But if it is not, hold on to it. I mean, they got a lot of rules coming in as far as I'm concerned, and they're really gonna have to thread the needle. So I'm curious to see how it all goes. But before the rumors pour in and we can start gauging expectations, I would say properly, with the information on what may or may not be there, and of course a lot of educated guessing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I'm hoping will happen at the showcase, because I think if it delivers below any of that, we are gonna have a tough talk with the brand. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm looking forward to seeing your thoughts, your expectations down below. Please do fire away. Other than that, take excellent care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to support the hell out of the content here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.